got a kid, so I didn't want anybody out there taking charges and diving into the stands with the playoffs starting in 5 days. We got our butts kicked.
Well, hello there. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to First Take on a Wednesday. I have no friends with me, but there they are. Stephen A., Max Kellerman. How we feeling, guys?
What's up? What's up? Good morning. How y'all doing?
Good morning.
Good morning. Molly, you have millions of friends with you every day.
I do. At home.
Absolutely.
We love you long time. All right, let's get into it, people. So we know momentum is a real thing, and most teams like to head into those playoffs hot. However, clearly not the case for the Warriors, who lost by 40 to the Jazz last night. The Warriors are now 7-10 in their last 17 games. Stephen A. Smith, how concerned are you about Golden State?
Not at all. Not at all. Max Kellerman, mere bag of shells.
Much to do
mere bag of shells. Just like I said on SportsCenter last night. You know, I used to watch The Honeymooners. It's one of my all-time favorite comedy. Ralph Cramden, mere bag of shells. There's nothing to be concerned about. There's nothing to be concerned about whatsoever. It's the end of the regular season. Okay, it's a meaningless game for the Golden State Warriors. It mattered to Utah. It did not matter to Golden State. Okay. As a result of that, as a matter of fact, I'm going to make the argument this actually works more for the Golden State Warriors than against them, because getting blitzed like that, not showing up, that gives Steve Kerr all the ammunition in the world to get on them. It gives them all the ammunition of the world to be ready come postseason time. Talk about receiving a wake-up call before the postseason. The very last game of the regular season, the last week of the regular season for you, you get stomped by 41 points. Excuse me, this is the kind of stuff, if you are that dude, KD, if you are one of those dudes, Klay Thompson, if you are the champions that you are, Golden State Warriors, nothing to concern yourself about whatsoever. Mere bag of shells, Max. I'm not concerned. Not even a little bit.
It's not mere bag of shells. The proper honeymooners reference here is hamana, 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 hamana. They're in trouble, Stephen A. Trouble. And that's
good, Max.
And that's even.
That was a good one.
Hamana, hamana, hamana. And that's even if they're fully loaded, because they're going to get the Rockets. But even in the first round, let's say it's the Timberwolves, they're in trouble. That doesn't mean they're going to lose to the Timberwolves, but that's a series. And let me tell you why they're in trouble without Steph Curry. Because he is what makes Golden State Golden State. He's what you start with Steph Curry. The space he creates for everyone, all three-pointers are not created equal. The distance from which he can shoot, the handles which allow him to get to the paint and collapse the defense. What that means is there's more time for everyone to shoot. So like a 33% three-point shooter like Draymond becomes a 38% three-point shooter. And okay, maybe he shouldn't be taking too many, becomes a guy who's like, uh-oh, deadly. You got to get to that guy. Allows them to play 5 out. Pick and roll action with Draymond. Takes Steph out. Draymond doesn't see the same pick and roll action. The team doesn't function the same way. Even catch and shoot opportunities. The distance from which you have to pick Steph up, combined with his ability to collapse the defense and make decisions with the ball, even just the threat of Steph on the floor means that Klay gets catch and shoot opportunities. Not only more of them, but with more space to shoot, making him a bigger threat, him a better player. Take Steph out. Klay gets worse. Draymond gets worse. It's even statistically shown. That's all like eyeball stuff.
Okay.
Even statistically shown that obviously KD gets worse. And if you look at Minnesota, Stephen A., let's say it's them. I'm not saying it will be, but if it is, talent for talent, they are not far behind if you take Steph off Golden State.
First of all, if I remember correctly, I think that's a subject for later on in the show. Keep that in mind. That's number one. Number two, and more importantly, Max Kellerman. I love Max Kellerman. How you sit up there. This is what I do, baby. That's why I'm Stephen A. But here's the deal, Max Kellerman. It's amazing to me. These are the kind of things. I give you credit. You actually succeeded in annoying me in the first 2 minutes. Because you sit up there, Captain Obvious, and you tell, oh, Steph Curry creates spacing. Who doesn't know that? Of course he creates spacing. Of course, pick and roll situations with Draymond Green and everybody else. What I'm saying to you is this. you're acting like things can't be done because he's not there. What I'm saying to you is this. I understand his greatness. I understand what he brings to the table. If, Max, you're talking about a team where Steph Curry is that shooter and there are no others, I totally get your point. If Steph Curry, for example, was on the Toronto Raptors and then all of a sudden he's taken off the team, I get your point. The problem that I think you're missing is that I am stating, even though Steph Curry is not there, and that's an additional perimeter weapon who happens to be the most elite perimeter weapon in the history of basketball, I am saying to you that Kevin Durant and Klay Thompson, in the game of basketball, you have two long-range snipers on the court. There is no excuse, if you are the Golden State Warriors, not to be able to still do what you do. I am not saying that they're better without Steph Curry. I need to be drug tested for implying such a thing. I'm not claiming that. I'm not claiming that losing him is not a loss. But what I'm saying to you, Max, in terms of marksmanship, they were here. Everybody else was here. Now they're here, but they're still here.
Let me ask you a question.
With Kevin Durant and Klay Thompson as perimeter shooters, and there's no excuse why you should be able to do what you're doing.
Sure, it's not an excuse, it's an explanation. Why do you think they've struggled since Steph went out in that case?
Would you like me to answer the question? Klay Thompson, if you recall, had gone down for a few games. Kevin Durant, if you recall, had gone earlier this year. It was right. He was at the Garden when they played the Knicks. If you recall, he had tried to coach just a week or two earlier. He stopped coaching and he let Draymond and them coach themselves against the Phoenix Suns. Remember that big story we did there, right? What I'm saying to you is Steve Kerr talked about them having a deaf ear, them not being interested. And the point that I made to Steve Kerr and Bob Myers ultimately, and Joe Lacob and those guys when I saw them in D.C. was this. When you have a team that's collectively potent, that's one thing. The problem with the Golden State Warriors is not only that they're explosive collectively, they also know they're explosive individually. So as a result, you have a laissez-faire attitude. You have a lackadaisical attitude. You don't prioritize, particularly when you've been to 3 consecutive NBA Finals, and the only team you look worried about is Houston. So you're going to sit up there and not bring your A game on many nights during the regular season, and I think that's what's happened to them over the last 20 games.
Klay Thompson is an all-star caliber player, and he can get his own shot. He can put the ball on the floor and make decisions, but that's not what you want him to be doing if you're Golden State. That's not where his strength is. Draymond Green is an all-star caliber player. He can bring the ball up the floor. He can do so many things. He's versatile. For their system, and he's not there. Now, when you look at other teams in the West that they'll play, because we will discuss this later, they also have MVP caliber players or players trending that way. They also have all-star
trending
players.
That way. Those are key words. Trending that way.
Yeah, sure. The thing that sets Golden State apart, Steph Curry is Golden State. That's the heart and soul. That's what allows them to do what they do. Draymond Green is the second most important player in terms of their identity as a team. KD puts them over the top. Like, Klay Thompson makes them impossible. KD puts them over the top, right? But it's Steph who is the real identity of that team.
But Max, you have to, I'm challenging you to make up your mind. I'm not saying that you're wrong. I agree with that. Anybody who knows basketball wouldn't refute what you're saying. What I'm saying is, you said KD takes you over the top. You yourself have acknowledged that Klay Thompson is one of the greatest shooters we've ever seen. You yourself have acknowledged the versatility of Draymond Green. Your argument is profound if somebody tries to say to you that there as good as they were with Steph Curry. I'm not implying that. What I'm saying is even without Steph Curry, because of the components, the ingredients to the individual games that we pointed out in Clay, in Kevin Durant, obviously to a different degree in Draymond Green, because of their system, what they do, and the fact that you got Clay with Kevin Durant on the floor, it still should be enough to not be worried about anybody but Houston. That's my point.
I would say it's enough to favor them against certain possible Western Conference playoff opponents before Houston. But to say not worry about as though those can't be extended series, they could have a chance to lose.
Right,
It's simply incorrect, I believe. And let me tell you something else.
Molly, he's peeling onions.
This is
Molly,
not
he's
Phoenix
peeling
where Bledsoe,
and I'm crying.
Where Bledsoe and Dragic and Kyle Lowry or Isaiah Thomas are coming off the bench.
Right.
Who's the point guard coming off the bench? Subbing in for Steph Curry.
Just stop it. You hedging your bet, sitting there dotting every I, crossing every T, and all of that other stuff, parsing words.
Gentlemen.
The bottom line is you'd have the Warriors' favorites over anybody but Houston, and you know it.
All right. Come on, you followed direction with the rundown. Please follow direction here.
That's not a sure thing.
The Rockets beat the Lakers last night, becoming the 21st team to ever win at least 65 games in a season. Head coach Mike D'Antoni said yesterday that their success won't be measured by a championship. Keep in mind, he's been a coach since 1998, and he has never won a chip. Max Kell. Is it a disappointment if the Rockets, your favorites to win it,